All right. Hello, this is Christian Moe of Townsite Labs, lead developer of a little talented team making LithoBreak. This is our first bit of an experiment, but a first of our live. It's going great. This is the first of our live devlogs. So usually we do a text, but I thought it would be interesting to do it live, and just kind of go over it and talk about it as the developer about all the changes that have come over the last month. So this month actually saw the re-release of episode 1, which brought the hex grids, the UI overhaul, settings, lots of new settings, and the save load overhaul. The materials, parts, and constructs were all reworked, all to make the game just a better platform to build upon going forward. As far as what actually happened in this month for the monthly progress, we got partware in, and this means that as your buildings are used, their parts inside of them will actually get worn down. And just kind of, they're bugs. This is the experimental build, so a little bit on that. If you know how to get to the experimental build, feel free to check it out, try it out, tell us what you think. I think this will be going on the main branch pretty soon because it's feeling pretty. It's getting pretty production ready, but there's still a couple bugs to fix out like that. But if you don't know how to get to the experimental branch, you can jump on Discord, and either I or someone will, show you how. So, parts. I'll show a couple of them. So just give you an idea of what it looks like when it's being built and when it's all constructed. So here's the printer. It's already constructed, but a lot of the parts have been worn out, especially these motors. So it's been, built making parts. Wait, I think there's one part that really gets used up. Yeah, printer roller. What's that? 88% health. And you might notice that all the masses are the same, all the durabilities at max. That doesn't happen when you actually build it from parts you made. You'll get, well, not that one. With the silo walls. There we go. No. Uh-oh, I've got bugs. Oh, because that's the first one that you built. You built it out of parts that were spawned in. There we go. We've got masses and durabilities that are actually calculated based upon density and stuff. Geeky stuff, but we handle the geeky stuff, so you don't have to. Unless you want to, then yeah, welcome to the verse. But you can see, like, these silo roofs have been apparently made of 2 different materials. Maybe? I need to check in on that. Looks like there's a bit of a variability to how much material gets put into. Yeah, there's probably a bit of variability into what. Okay, I kind of like that. Unexpected. But anyway. So as the systems get used, the parts wear out, and eventually they need to be repaired. Now, we don't have anything that's close to repair, but they do get taken out and replaced. And as the building is being constructed, you can see the lines and the groupings get populated, and yeah. buffer silo wall. That's all of these, the 12 of these pieces here. Anyway, and we also group them up so that it's just less information that needs to be presented. Anyway, just finished that last night actually. So, let's see what else. Yeah, and then this is the construct overlay. Should have mentioned. So it actually tells you, yeah, you can see the information about the little different parts and get a better idea of what construction, what status the construction is in. So it's nearly done. This one is nearly done, but there's still some parts that need to be printed in order to complete this. Which it looks like those parts are in production, and then we'll need collector tops to be loaded in. Anyway, we'll leave that going while I go on to the next bit. The construct list, which I opened up earlier. So here you can decide which buildings should be prioritized. So right now the sifter is pretty high. Well, it's actually kind of low, but it's higher than the warehouse. So it's prioritizing constructing this silo, or the sifter, sorry, over this warehouse. So this warehouse is kind of sitting out, waiting for materials to come to it. Oh, and you know what? I didn't set these to make anything, so of course they're not going to make anything. There we go. Now this warehouse should start really ramping up production. But I can also do that by moving the warehouse up in the list. Yeah. Oh yeah, and one more thing that I forgot to put in my notes that I just remembered because it feels like you should be able to click on that and open a window. We'll get there. You can now rename your... So... Oh yeah, and we need to... Yeah, okay. There's a little bit of issue with it. But you can rename it, and it shows up in the list. So you can actually, like we have two silos here. And they do highlight when you go over them. So you can tell which one is which. But, you know, if I just want to say this is silo 1. And this is silo 2. It's just a lot easier to see, oh, silo 1 and silo 2. Well, let's see, what's it saying? Set up a new silo to buffer silicon. Okay, I'll just do that. And then we can see it construct a newly reconfigured silo. So it's got 3 spots, 3 hexagon grids now, rather than the 2. It just kind of helps to expand out. Gives the rovers a place to actually go as well. Anyway. Yeah. Next up. Information maps. Oh yeah. So these guys have all been populated. Not all of them have the part groups because not all of them can be constructed yet. And you'll see there's some, it shows none in some of them because I just haven't configured that in the game yet. Okay, there are bugs. But we can see we've got ceramic walls, which is all that you really need for that. Everything else is metal, so it gets, for now, it gets, you know, populated for you. But here's ceramic foundations and ceramic walls, etc., etc. We don't have... Just realizing now we don't have the new icons for the ceramics or the metals. Not sure if I actually set a final list to Alley. That could be on me. That's probably on me. Oh yeah, and here's the part groups. Shows you what it can be made out of. It should probably also show the durability. The resulting durability, huh? Let me just fire up my to-do list and add that. On part group map. Show resulting durability. Part group map. Okay. Live development. And then there's the materials, which I really tried to get all these icons ready, but there was just so many and it was so time consuming. I'll put that in my to-do list too. Finish materials. Yeah, icons. There we go. But it gives you an idea of what it's going to take to make all of these different materials. So this 430 is actually going to be your first stainless steel, and then you'll do 304 and 316 as you get nickel and molybdenum. What else? Yeah. Regolith. Yeah. What else? Oh yes, the rover navigation. You might notice that they move a lot differently now. So everything, all of these guys move on Bezier Curves now, which means their movements are much more smoother. They're actually, I don't want to say they're incapable of getting stuck, but they won't get stuck. Like this was a hazard before, because the rovers would come in and they would get stuck trying to get between these two silos, or buffer silos, and they just would never advance, and so you'd have to like turn down the time to actually get them to go through and then speed it back up. Yeah, so Bezier Curves, it's everything based on Bezier Curves, so you'll see it turn smoothly, you'll see it slow down around turns. Yeah, cool stuff. And they do actually take longer to accelerate. So it takes this, I think it takes this guy like 3 whole seconds to go from a standstill to accelerate. Where it takes, these guys can zip around, the haulers can zip around pretty well too. Gotta stop saying So out of the game, I'll just go over this list while it's continuing to make progress on this. Actually, let's see. Set the printer to use silica from the silo. I made this game. I should know where the controls are. Alright, here we go. Now you see all the parts being populated. Now we want to make ceramic columns. Produce column projects. I have to wait for the printer to finish construction, and we can watch these smooth rovers just move about all nicely. What are you doing? Oh, it's still making that silo. Okay. So the Steam store page has been completely refreshed. There's new descriptions, new everything, new images. new screenshots, and the teaser video that's on, I think it's on YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube. No, don't think I ever published it on YouTube. It will be on YouTube. The teaser video is on the Steam store page too. Merchandise. There's been a lot of requests for coffee mugs. So I can say with certainty that the coffee mug, I can't show a picture yet, but it looks fantastic. We have the Angry Face coffee mug. That's going to be our first. And it came out so well. Allie is the only one that has a sample of it right now, and I'm jealous. We'll have shirts and stickers as well. If there's anything else, let us know. We're not going to just make anything into merchandise, but if it makes sense, like the coffee mugs, we will jump on that. And okay, and as far as the near future plans, many of the updates, just like this month, will continue to be small improvements that will add up to, something that you actually utilize. Like, well, let's see here. Like, I can actually see what's going on with this. There's a lot of little things that put together make for a nicer experience overall. I still need to refresh this whole thing. It's a good amount of data, but it's just data kind of being thrown at you. Whereas this is nice and, modifiable. It updates with the, when you change the text. Oh, yeah, I think I remember I was about to fix the renaming. Hold on. Fix renaming, not updating the layout. Okay. I didn't put it on my list before, and then I didn't fix it. Okay. And so, next up after I fix the little things I've put here. Well, probably next up, we'll just be expanding the video settings. So right now you have video. So you've got quality. You can set these around. But it doesn't actually give you like the ability to set the anti-aliasing. It's all just packaged into a slider. And there's been plenty of requests to tweak it because every graphics card is different, so they handle the performance curves are different anyway. And everyone's different, so some people like to see, fine anti-aliasing going on, which you can see some. Well, you might not be able to see it, but I've got it on medium settings, so there's aliasing going on here and there. What else? So, displaying the material production rate information. So, like this sifter, this best sifter ever, it should tell you what the rate is coming in for one, and then based upon what's in here, what the rate will be into each of these other silos, so that you can get an idea of, okay, I've got a mixer here. I haven't made a mixer yet. Reduce column part types. Did I not do that? Oh, it doesn't have any material in it? I don't know. Produce new parts. Oh, it's not. It's still being constructed. It's got the whole construction lines around it. Yeah. That's unfortunate. I'll have to fix that. I can pretty easily fix that. So when you have a sifter going into a mixer, you can actually figure out how much input is going into that mixer, so how much, if I want to optimize, how much should I be producing of this, silica and alumina to make the maximum fire brick I can. Stuff like that. And setting up this warehouse. Oh my. Right now, when you set up the warehouse, it basically just asks for one of everything. It asks for enough parts to make one of every building. Which is a lot of parts. So you'll see it, like, when this goes up, like, everything starts going haywire. Lots of parts are populated here. And the printers just go nonstop. And that shouldn't be happening, because you probably just want, like, a silo to be buffered, and maybe a sifter. And, but you probably don't want to worry about mixers because they won't be too commonly produced.
Eli, making and selling replacement rocket parts could provide income to fund our off-the-record experiments.
How did you may be a program, but you're a little drifter, aren't you?
Janice instructed me to assist in all of your legitimate development and off-the-server experiments.
Hey, research I do is legitimate. But it would be nice if the board remained unaware of certain purchases and activities.
Yep. So I'm actually going to do that, because our next point is refreshing this mixer window. So right now there really isn't a great way. Let's see, we're gonna put this guy in. Maybe, yeah, sure. Yes, you can use this material again, and it will actually be faster to produce the alumina, even though I don't, because their rates are not showing, you can't tell. And this needs to be fully constructed to see the rates. It will need to be fully constructed to see the rates. But the mixer will be refreshed so that instead of setting, between nothing and fire brick, you'll be able to actually have more parts, more materials available. So right now there's no way to make I have a material map to go on. So there's no way to make refractory brick. Oops. I didn't actually. You don't use uranium to make refractory brick. That's an issue. So you can't make kiln brick right now. And you can't make refractory brick because it's not. Right. This should be. I think it's. This. No, wait. What was refractory brick? I think refractory brick actually had some other material in it. I just can't pull it off the top of my head. It's not chromia. Magnesium? Maybe? Anyway, it's got silica, alumina, and another material in it. So that's when all three will be used. But instead of being just setting between fire brick and kiln brick up here, just trying to populate this little bar with more things, you'll actually decide what material you're going to make based upon what inputs and where. So like fire brick will be silica on top, alumina on bottom. Kiln brick will be alumina on top, silicon on bottom. And those, oh dear. Anyway, and so we'll let you input in anything, but it'll actually tell you up here if it's going to actually make something, and if it's actually active or not. And then there'll be like an information menu about what combinations go to what. And the same thing, sort of, is going to happen to the sifter. Sort of. This selection bar won't be going away, but it will change depending upon what materials come in. So like right now you can make silica, alumina, and rust. Silica is going to be like, well, I mean, you have regolith coming in. So you got 40% silica at least, 12.5% iron oxide at least, and 7.5 aluminum oxide at least. So anything that's beyond like 10%, I think was the rough number, you'll be able to concentrate into a material, a purified material. So alumina is like right on the border here. I'm not sure if we can actually sift that out with 10%. But definitely when we get to this material that's had its silica greatly reduced, greatly removed, you can definitely get rust and alumina, and you might even get quicklime, which is calcium. There we go. Calcium oxide. Magnesium sulfate. That might be a misname. That it might. I need to check my data. Oops. Okay. What else? Here's the sifter window. Ah, yeah. Add sounds to the mining equipment. So there was sounds at one point. They went away. I'm not sure why. I mean, I've changed a lot of the sound programming, so I probably just broke at some point. But it needs an overhaul anyway. So those will be getting a refresh. There wasn't enough sound in it before anyway, so yes, and adding visuals. Hold on, I have to clear these things. There we go. Adding visuals for the materials, so you can you'll be able to see the material in there, in the silos, in the sifter, in the mixer, etc., etc. Yeah, we have some mock-ups of it already working, but it was just not ready for, yeah. And then after all of that, we will finally get to the first real mechanic for episode 2, being factories. So you'll finally be able to take, like this spot of land and build a factory. What am I trying to say? You'll be able to build a factory over land.
Sarah,
that
there are
is
laws
currently
limiting AI intelligence levels. Are you legal?
Cetus Tech is keenly aware of the AI laws and the Kronos Initiative.
Didn't answer the question. How very human of you. You are definitely pushing the boundaries of legality, aren't you, Sam? Janice, you little tracer.
Janice is not present. She is 127 light years away. Ready to produce general spacecraft products for immediate sale. Shall we proceed?
Alright. So I won't be doing that. But, so you'll be able to, instead of taking, what you can get here in terms of the hexagons for placement, you'll be able to actually build out a factory over mostly flat land and decide how you want it to be laid out. It will all be based upon hexagons. Hexagon buildings. Sounds fun. Personally. Hopefully it sounds fun for everyone else. But there will be ways to make, straight flat walls. You won't have to have every single wall be this undulation. So there'll be, segments of the walls that you can put in to make it a flat wall. A little more aesthetically pleasing, perhaps. So yeah, you'll be able to make square buildings if you want. Mostly square. Let's see. Probably make completely square buildings. But, yeah. Alright, and more on factories next month, though, because it's mostly just, like, we know we can do it. It's just making sure that we have the right idea before we dive into it. And then we'll get the factories up and going. Yeah. And then, factories will really come into use when you actually have metal materials to produce and stuff like that. Plus, yeah, you'll have, conveyors? Not conveyors. Yeah, conveyors. Going around, moving, partially built parts from place to place. Yeah. In any case, that is the monthly update. So, I'm sort of hoping for some people coming around. That's okay. It's on Discord. Yeah, usually the communities. Well, maybe this is just not the greatest time for the community at the moment. But anyway, yeah. So we are Tausay Labs. We're making this fun game that still has bugs. I will get that sorted out. Okay. Okay. So, we are Tausay Labs. I'm Christian Moe of Tausay Labs. And I'll see you next month. And stay safe in the verse. Okay.